And if you have a, obviously this is going to be different, but more or less if you have a 14 Pro or Pro Max, this is more or less the same experience. So yeah, I have my patented, just kidding, not really, method of removing the screen. These things are kind of a pain, but if you have either one of these, which you probably don't, you can use a razor blade. You just got to be very, very thin. Those like square ones, I've seen people use those. And I have another video up here that I'm going to link. I don't use heat really anymore. I don't use heat. I use 99, but you can also use 91% rubbing alcohol. And then I use this wide opening tool, and then it's just a matter of lifting gently. It's not a bad idea to use heat because it will soften up the adhesive a little bit. But I'm already feeling the screen lifting. So then that's when I come in with a little bit more alcohol. The tricky thing is getting past both of the corners. And as you can see, we're about right here. And you just sort of want to come back with a little bit more. Bam. Hurdle 1. Then we can come in with this dude. There we go. I like this, instead of just, I like this twisting method. You use a lot less force than the sort of cutting motion. You do want to be careful of your OLED flex, which I'll point out here right now. You can see it, it's right here. Howdy. Take great care not to open the screen too far, as you could accidentally tear the screen flex, and as of now, these suckers are expensive. You'll notice here the technique that I have for removing the screen, just unseating it from the top, is just wiggling it back and forth. Sometimes you might want to use a little bit of heat or isopropyl alcohol. Next up, we have a bunch of tri-wing screws. You'll find out very quickly it helps to have a magnetic mat, as quite a few of these are different sizes. Also, please, 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 please disconnect your battery before disconnecting your screen or proximity sensor flex. One of the things that aids greatly in removing the battery pull tabs is first removing the loudspeaker and or Taptic engine. In this model, we're doing both. But the next, I'm going to use isopropyl alcohol, 91 or 99%. For anyone out there that has ever had battery tabs on them pull, comment below how much they suck. All right, next we have this little bracket. There's a little sort of hook here. You just want to sort of nudge it to the right just a little bit. And then from the looks of it, we have a couple of screws. So we have one here, here. We have one right here. Standoff, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have a tri-wing and a Phillips. If you haven't already found out, this is why having a magnetic mat is so important. All of these screws are different sizes, and the last thing that you want to do is to mix them up. If you don't have a magnetic mat, I suggest masking tape or packing tape, flipping it upside down. So, battery. We're going to use the same sort of trick. And then I also have, I think, 1 or 2 videos on how to remove batteries if these pull tabs tear. And I also have a video showing you how to not do this repair, because there's some dude that, I don't even know how he thinks it's acceptable. I'm going to link all of them right up here. But I use my friend isopropyl alcohol. I get it started, so I sort of wrap it around just a little bit. I then apply more than a couple of drops. And then wrap it up. And I like the sort of back and forth method instead of just pulling straight out. This one tends to be, at least on the 13 Pro and Max, tends to be kind of a pain. Like already it's being annoying. All right. So the other thing that I'll do sometimes, because I can tell this one wants to tear, is I'll wedge my spudger a little bit. Lovely. All right. So that's where we're going to come under here. And we're going to try to, at least here, no, that doesn't work. We got a little white tab, which you can just make out right there. There we go. And then we have two more. So by far the largest tabs are this one, then this one, and then these two are almost afterthoughts. Like sometimes what I'll do is I won't even bother removing them. I will just lift. So as you can see, my spudger is about right here. And I will just gently lift. And then it just comes out. And as you can see, here are our pull tabs. And then you just pull the battery up and away. So we can take our battery, set it aside. Now, we have, there's like usually a little piece of foam or something that makes this stuff stick on. If you need to, you can heat it up. I didn't, just pulled it right off. Now, the reason we needed to remove our battery, which I might throw this in the beginning, is because our flex has two. We have two flexes, which is this one and then this one. So basically what we need to do, at least what I should be able to do, I'm pretty sure from the looks of this, is just sort of slide this out without actually needing a board, without needing to take out the board. So first we're going to remove, let's see, zoom in a little bit. That's our front mic. You may need to heat this up a little bit. I can feel some adhesive right here. Actually, not that much. I didn't need it. Next, we're going to take our spudger, and I'll show you what I mean in just a sec. but there's a little bit of foam adhesive holding this plastic piece that these two flexes rest on, and holds that to the frame. And then you sort of just gently all right. Now we go here. Honestly, should have done this first. Here. So, for those of you that may be watching in other countries, first of all, thank you for watching. Second of all, I assume this is where your eSIM, I assume this is where your SIM tray, yeah, it sounds stupid. They ditched the physical SIM. All we have are eSIM in Americas. All we have are eSIMs in America. So dumb. But as you can see, this thing came out pretty easily. Just like it goes out, it goes right back in. You don't even need to pry up on this. Like on some of the other models you do. But just slide that in. And now a word from our sponsor. Take it away, Spencer.
So, first of all, if you've got this far and you think, hell no, I do mailings. Second, I also buy iPhones. Working, broken, whatever. Even if it looks like this, I'm still interested. Link in the description. Let's make a deal.
Let's zoom in. This flap goes underneath where the speaker sits. And usually I start with my two pentalobes. And then the next thing that I do before putting the rest of my screws back in is I like to make sure that it snaps in properly, which that doesn't. So I'm going to back these out just a little bit. There you go. I think that fits a lot better. But let's pop this in here really quick. Yeah, that's much better. Because it would be a gigantic pain in the ass if you got all that way and then had to undo a bunch of your work. So sometimes it's good to test along the way. Getting this back in is sometimes difficult. You need to align, as you can see, right there. Next, now we can start with our Phillips. Luckily, we don't have too many tri-wings. Remember, our tri-wing goes there. We can slowly start knocking some of these other ones out. All right, there we go. Before we put this in, let's knock out our standoffs. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next we have our Taptic engine. Make sure to snap that in. On more than one occasion I have not. And then I go to test the phone, and then it doesn't work, and I'm like, what the heck? So, our last standoff, at least for this charging port area. Now, for our battery. So, some asshole broke into my car and stole a bunch of like several $1,000s worth of housing and tiny stuff like this. So I don't have adhesive strips, my normal adhesive strips. So I'm going to be using ones off of a 12 Pro Max, which are pretty darn close from the looks of it. I mean, because this is it. It goes something like this. I mean, you could probably trim this down a little bit. So as you can see, I sort of retrofitted this. Now, one of the things that I like to do, which I don't think we're going to have an issue here, but just as a general practice, I don't just lay my battery down, because if you don't get it right, sometimes it can be kind of annoying to get this flex cable aligned properly. So I will connect my battery. As you can clearly see, the flex is connected. So we know that wherever I place this, the flex will have proper reach. Sort of, there we go. All right. So, just like I mentioned, before you go disconnecting or reconnecting anything, you always want there to be no battery can't be connected. As long as the battery is connected, the board has a charge, and that means you could potentially short out part of the device, which is bad. Don't do that. I don't know why there's this extra bracket here. All right, that one's pretty simple. So usually on wider flex cables, one of the things I like to do is press left, right, or right, left, whichever you'd like to do. But try to avoid pressing dead center, because sometimes you can damage the flex cable that way. And if you damage the flex cable, you are damaging, at least as of now, these are insanely expensive screens. They probably will still be insanely expensive for years to come. So yeah, don't do that. And we're going to do some basic QC on the phone. Just want to make sure that when I give it back to my customer, he's not going to call me back in an hour saying this or that doesn't work. So a perfectly good example would have been the charging port. Obviously, service. We have service. Obviously, we have the display and Bumble. Woo! Okay, so here we go. Obviously, the OLED wasn't damaged. We don't have one of those BS Face ID or rear camera or any of the other like stupid messages that Apple. So now we're going to test volume down, volume up. Then we're going to test the Taptic engine. What else? Then we're going to go for flashlight works. His camera is there. And we have 1, 2, 3.5. Okay, so all those are good. Cameras work. Phone charges. Loudspeaker works. What else? Let's test the lower microphone. Test, 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 test. Test, test, test. And that works. What else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all the important stuff. I don't have a wireless charger because someone else stole that too. So, we're going to call this a success. I'm going to put in a couple more plates. welcome to hang out because I'm like almost done. One of the things that I always suggest is screws have a habit of getting stuck along the perimeter gasket or the ear speaker or the Taptic engine or loudspeaker. On more than one occasion, this actually happened to me recently on a phone that I purchased. I'm really angry about this one because the screen was like 130 bucks. So yeah, don't do that. Don't damage your screen. Check, make sure you don't have any screws that are loose. If they're here, or there, you can very easily damage your OLED. Don't do that. Oh, I'm talking to YouTube. Oh. Alright. Now, we gotta do this. Alright, now from here, pretty straightforward. Seat your screen. If your screen is not sitting up here, probably has something to do with A, screw, or B, your Face ID just isn't sitting properly. And then after that, you shouldn't need to use a whole lot of force. Once again, that could be a screw or something else. But yeah, that's it. I'm done. Thank you for watching. Peace.